Yes, guys, welcome back to another video on the Chelsea FC Today channel. And today we're going to be making a tier list based off all the players in our first team squad. The five categories are excellent, good, average, poor, and horrendous. We've got two great guests on the show today with Nick and Wayne, and we might even have Rayan on the show later. So subscribe, like the video, and follow the guests on all socials. Links within the description down below. Let's get started with the first player. We'll start off with goalkeepers. Edward Mendy. What do you guys think?
I reckon good, If we still had Kepa in goal, I think we'd be worse off, obviously. Kepa taxes 15 or 20% each match. And Mendy has proved his worth. He does have an error in him every now and then. But I think he's got the second most amount of clean sheets behind Edison this year in the Premier League. I'm not sure what that figure is. Maybe it's 12. I'm not sure. But he's been very good this year, and you can clearly see he's had an impact on the back line. He's given them confidence. He comes out for crosses. He's no nonsense. He always wants to come out and put his body on the line, which is what we want to see in a physical Premier League. So I think he deserves good. So yeah.
I would say excellent in my opinion. He's for me for what he's achieved with clean sheets and with it being a new league and the saves he's made in important games we've had to deal with as well. For me, he's been an excellent. I know he's had his mistakes, but I wouldn't expect any otherwise in a new league. So,
I mean,
What
I
do you
don't
guys
mind,
reckon?
honestly. I think you can go an excellent. Yeah, I agree with Wayne. Honestly, he's been top tier this season. Do you agree with that? You reckon
Yeah, yeah,
excellent?
yeah, I agree.
Sweet.
All right, let's move
we
on
can
to the
go.
next
We can go
keeper.
Kepa. This would be interesting.
Yeah, that's a
All
good
right. What are we saying for Kepler, lads? I think I'm willing to give him a bit of leeway. I think average. You know, he at the start of the season he buggered it. He had no confidence under Lampard. You could see like that screw up in the Brighton game. It just didn't work out well, and you could see that's why Mendy was brought in to reassure and reestablish the backline's confidence. But under Tuchel, his appearances that he's made in the cup and against Newcastle were pretty decent. So I think either average or poor, on my opinion. But I could see it going either way, honestly. What are your thoughts, Wayne?
I'm saying as you got what you just said. Personally, I would go poor because I think he's poor performances outdoes his good performances in that. So for me, that would be a poor. But if it was more, if he did a more average, like good to bad was on the same level, then for me it'd be average. But he's had more poor games. Like, yeah, he's been on Lampard, but still had more poor games. And the games he has been poor in, have conceded us points like West Brom, Southampton, games that we needed to have a good game, and we didn't have it because we had to deal with Kepa in goal. And the Liverpool game as well, what the horrendous mistake he made, they got Christian sent off as well. Just yeah, for me, it's got to be in the poor
Or you
category.
think not even under Tuchel, even though he's had a couple good games, I can't bump him up a tier, or we just keep sticking a poor.
I just can't know. I just don't think if it was more games that I could sit and say, yeah, I can't. It just can't. Not in my mind. But
one.
it's
All
the
right.
same as that. I just don't see. Just don't see. I know he's had good performances, but I just don't see how that could be a positive influence for him as a Chelsea player.
Just get his confidence up and value back up, I think. I'm
That's
not sure.
exactly. But nothing for a future for Chelsea. That's the problem. I don't see him in the future with us.
All right, I hear you.
We'll move on to
Mm.
Caballero.
He hasn't played. Did he play what, 1 or 2 games this season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't play well either. So it might be if we're gonna put Kepa there, he's got to be in the same position.
Yeah, I agree with Wayne on that. He just hasn't had enough games. He hasn't played any of the cup games anyway, because Tuchel's rather to play Kepa. And then did he even play any cup games under Lampard? Like maybe 1 or 2. But other than that,
I
we haven't
think,
seen him this.
yeah, I
He's
don't
just
think he even played any cup games for, to be honest, because no, he played one cup game. I think he played against the Barnsley, but
Barnsley.
and then he played
A,
against West
a league
Brom
game, right?
as well, and that's it.
Yeah, fair play. I mean, we just haven't seen enough from him. He's collecting his paycheck, doing bits in training is what it is, man.
All right. And with that, we'll move on to the defenders. We'll go Zuma first.
I think he's had a good
Oh,
year, especially
yeah,
on the Tiago Silva. He's been very good. He's just getting better and better and better. Little by little, he has had a couple hiccups. I'm not denying that. That's why I'm not putting him in excellent. But he's had a damn good. He had a damn good stint under Lampard when we did well, and him and Tiago Silva were a very lethal partnership. It's just whether now, like, we are willing to take in his like more recent form, I guess you could say, his stuff up against Southampton. But I want to see the best from Kurt Zuma. He started in the international friendlies for France. I think he can do well, definitely, bro. So I think he deserves good this year. He hasn't been average, he's been good in my opinion.
yeah, I agree with you. 100%. You can't. I don't think you can put him in excellent because he's just. If he was excellent, he would never been dropped in the first place. So he's definitely a good.
Okay, we'll go with it. Now we'll go on to Emerson. I think this is interesting. What do you guys think?
Poor for me. He hasn't done a lot to be anywhere else. He scored that great goal, but every time he's played, we haven't looked secure, unfortunately. So he's got to be poor.
Yeah, I agree with Wayne on that one. I think he can do well. I think he'll probably be our second choice, maybe even third choice next season. But I just want to see a consistent run of form for him to do well, right? He's just been too inconsistent this year. He's had a couple good moments, but the negatives outweigh his positives in his case. So I agree he needs to go into poor right now. But maybe he could get better towards the end of the season if he gets in a better role. So yeah.
And now we'll go on to Rudiger. What do you guys reckon?
Average, in my opinion, because he's been playing under Lampard. He was awful, and then he's just performed under Tuchel. So I think it's like an even playing field there. So for me, he's average, maybe into good, but I think that's about it.
Yeah, I agree with Wayne. He was horrendous under Lampard. But under Tuchel, he looks like a new man. He's got all this confidence back, his swagger. Suarez was in his back pocket in the Athletic game, and we are really seeing the best of Antonio Rudiger so far. It's whether yet again he can keep this up over the season. Now, I think there is maybe you could put him into good, but I understand where Wayne's coming from. I think average is a fair result. And if he keeps this up towards the end of the season, I think he can definitely get in the good category
Oh
easily
yeah,
because
yeah.
he's been so good so far. So just want to see more of everything from Rudiger.
Okay. Good. And let's see. Okay, next one, Christensen.
Now I know I'm going to be very
Very
suspect.
careful.
I'm with Lewis on the AC Hive. I think since he's come in, I think he's probably been one of our best players overall. I think he's been depended on, and he's proven himself to be a very vital player for us. And so for me, it could be an excellent. I could go down to a good, but for me, it's one of those. I don't think he's done anything wrong to justify any less than good.
Yeah, I agree with Wayne. He's been very underrated this year, honestly. He got a lot of stick for the Liverpool game. Excellent. What? I reckon good, man. But anyway, I
Oh
think I
no,
think
that's fine. That's good. It's fine. I'm just
because I
being.
think
I'm on the
if
AC
you're
high,
rating it
so
off
I've got to go for the top.
exactly. No, what I'm saying, Tiago Silva's been excellent this year. He's been the best centre back overall when he's played. But that's nothing to take away from Christensen. You see, once we've switched to the three at the back formation, he's vital in the middle of that back three, and he's just showing his best. And yet again, he's doing so well and so underrated. We just need to keep this up too, honestly.
Sorry, I put him in the wrong one by accident. I don't know what I was thinking.
No, it's calm. It's calm.
We'll move on to Chilwell.
I reckon poor, you know.
Average.
Or
You
I've
say
not
poor.
Yeah, bro, I'm critical on him. We brought him in for 50 mil, and he's not what I've expected now. He has had good moments, but he's just not lived up to that hype or expectations. You know, at 50 mil, it seems like we got mugged off a bit, not gonna lie. Now, this is not me writing him off in any shape or form. I think he's a good player, right? But he just, this year isn't his year, honestly. Next year, I'm not even sure. Maybe we'll fit in, but I think Tuchel will find a role for him and then he can improve. But so far this year, he has been poor. Honestly, his
And
performance.
I can understand that. But let's put this in perspective. We're going to have Emerson in poor. I presume what Alonso probably in poor as well. I was out of all three of them in this season, overall this season, I think Chilwell's had a better season than any of them. I know he's not, that's not saying a lot, he hasn't done a lot, but for me, he deserves an average. He hasn't just in the average. Let's put it this way, he's just in the average. He's not like up to good. He's just, for me, he's been better than Emerson or Alonso.
Yeah, if you're ranking those three, then I see your point. So I think you should go an average. Then I see what you mean.
So the meeting will end in 10 minutes, so let's try and hurry this up. So
Easy.
Chilwell, average.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. We'll go Reece James.
Good.
Yeah, I agree. He's done very well this year. You know, he's improving under Tuchel. He's getting in England, potentially the starting right back for England in the Euros. Just top bloke, so underrated, best right back in the league. I don't want to hear anything less, and he can get even better this year. So solid, good performances from him.
Now, Aspilicueta.
Average.
I think we are being a bit harsh on ASP, but I see your point. You know, he's not necessarily the prettiest player, but I think he's had a pretty decent year. So not good, but decent. So average.
We'll go with Tiago Silva now.
Excellent.
Excellent. Being the best defender in our squad. Just that's it pretty much. Nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah, without doubt. Now we go Alonso.
Ooh.
Poor.
Yeah, I agree. He's done well, you know, that athletic game, but just overall, bro, he's had a bit of too many stinkers this year, not gonna lie. So I agree with Wayne.
We'll move on to the midfielders now. We'll start off with Conte.
Excellent, bro. Simple.
Yep. Can't deny that.
We saw him back at his best against Atletico, and we just love to see it, honestly, man.
All right. We'll go Ziyech next.
Average.
Yeah, I agree with you, Wayne. He's had good, like a lot of players. You know, there's been one half of this season so far that he's done well, and one half that he hasn't. Now, Ziyech's come in and done pretty well. He got 2 goals, you know, recently. I think he has room to improve. His performances haven't always impressed, but he has room to grow in this Chelsea team. So he hasn't had a bad year by any expectations, but he hasn't hit the heights that he probably wanted to this year. So I would agree with you on that average.
We'll go Mason Mount. I think this one's obvious.
He is excellent.
Indeed, nothing else needs to be said. Top player. So underrated. It's just so good this year. He hasn't had, I mean, there were a couple games where he hasn't had his best performance, but you can see so underrated, it's so undervalued, and it's just going to get better, and better. It's simple, and he will have a key role to play in Chelsea's future success, maybe even captaining the team, honestly, not going to lie. Money Mace back at his best, bro. Excellent for the man.
Agree. And now I think this is actually an interesting one. We'll go Kai Havertz. What do you guys think?
I would say good.
Oh, I would say average, bro. Let's be real. Under Tuchel, he's looked better, but under Lampard, he was poor. He was poor. So I think there needs to be like more of a middle ground for Havertz. He's had a couple, yeah, again, a couple good performances, but under that first half, I mean that first quarter, sorry, of this year, he had some stinkers. Not gonna lie, Kerner didn't really help anything, but it's just unfortunate circumstances, but I think he could come back bigger and better and stronger next year, and I want to see him do that. So that's why
Well,
I'm saying average.
okay, it's fine. I'll get that point. So I do agree with you.
Yes, average is good.
Yep,
Yeah,
average is fine.
Now Billy Gilmore.
he hasn't
I
played,
think,
so
yeah. So you can't really say that's probably average. To be fair.
exactly. He's done pretty decently in the cup games when he's played, but just not enough game time.
All right, next one, Georginio.
Good.
It's just an all-round good performance. He's had good performances this year. Not yet again, not the most pretty. Always looks for the backwards safe pass, but he's effective and efficient at what he does. And he's quite reliable. So I think a good is definitely warranted this year for Georginio. And he's just been a good player, yeah.
All right, and last midfielder, Mateo Kobach. What do you guys think?
I'll go in either good or excellent.
Yeah, I think if there was a tier between halfway, Kovacic would be in between good and excellent because he's just that amazing ball progressor. The one thing I always want to see from Kovacic is a bit more final third output, so some assists or goals. But other than that, the man is so talented, bro. His dribbling is freakishly good. So he's had a great year, honestly. So I think stick him in the good category. If there was something in between excellent and good, he'd go in there. But I don't think he's had that goal output to warrant an excellent season, but just other than that, he's had good performances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, now we go on to the attackers. Oh, we'll start with Werner.
Ooh, this is a
Oh,
divisive one.
I'm good. I will say good because I think he's done enough. Maybe not
Exactly.
goals, but overall he's done enough. So I'll say good.
I agree with you, Wayne. I think he's got the most assists in the squad this season for Chelsea. A very underrated part of his game. We always criticize him for him not necessarily finding that pass in the final third to set up a play, but he's got the most assists. I'm pretty sure. I think it's around 7 or 8, and he's still got double figures in goals this year. It's not quite the heights we wanted him to reach, and like reaching about the high teens or low 20s. But I also think that's down to how he's been played this year under Lampard and stuff. And his confidence is shot to bits, but you can see his work ethic is always very strong and solid. He wants to improve, and that's why I want to see him become excellent next year, which I back him to do this year. But
Mm.
for these foreign players, it's hard to come into a Premier League. So far, I think he's had a good season.
All right, so yeah, guys, we have 3 minutes. Let's wrap this up quickly. I'll say the player and you tell me where they fit. Okay, is that good?
Yeah, easy.
Yep, fine.
All right, Tammy Abraham.
Average.
Yeah, I agree.
I'd say it about average as well. All right, Pulisic.
Average.
Poor.
Oh, poor. He just hasn't had enough game time and injuries. But yeah, I think he's been poor this year compared to last year.
Hopefully he'll bounce back next season. Like he did.
No, like,
Yeah, I think he will.
This is one of my favorite players at the club, Callum Hudson Odoi. What do you guys think?
yeah, I'll go excellent for me. I think what he's
Yeah,
done for us so far has been excellent.
he's been that impact player too. I think a perfect example of this was the West Brom game when we were down 3-0 at halftime, get subbed on.
Mm.
He's the only one creating those in behind runs, trying to get on the ball, make stuff happen. He's been excellent this year.
Excellent. And now Giroud. What do you guys think?
Good.
Yeah, agreed. Just underrated. Comes in and always does his job. Never gets the starting time and the minutes he wants, but when he's called upon, Mr. Reliable always gets you a crucial goal involvement or an assist. So just good season for him.
Oh, good. Yes, guys, this is the end of the tier list. this is our final tier list. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and follow Wayne and Nick on all socials. Link will be down in the description below. And yeah, hope you guys have a good day. Peace.